Hello, friends. Thanks for joining me today. We are continuing on with this series of creating the beach journal folio. At least I think that's what it is. So, this is part 3, and today I'm going to work on putting pockets in to the journal. Before I get started on the pockets, I'm going to go ahead and add some fabric to the spine. I want to share something with you because I made a little oopsie and I want to let you know what that was. So you see this strip of fabric? I'm placing that down. I used hot glue to adhere it. Well, the reason I have to do that inside of the journal is because I neglected to cover that spine piece before I sewed in the signature. And some tape was showing. So I'm really doing it to cover the tape. The tape isn't bright or off colored or anything like that. It actually matches the fabric pretty closely, which is awesome. And that is working out really nice. So I'm doing it on the front, and you can see now I'm going to go ahead and do it on the back. And then I'll actually do it on the outside spine. I chose a cotton fabric that's sort of like a sandy color. We have very light colored sand where I live. I know it's different all over the world, but where I live, it's basically the color of this fabric that I'm using. And it's called sugar sand actually, because it's very, very fine and it's very, very light. So at any rate, this is the fabric that I've chosen to use inside the journal and on the outside. You can see I'm using my hot glue and I'm going in strips, so nothing is so the glue's not clumpy. I can use a finer line and then just do it strip by strip. Now another thing I need to do before I move forward with the pockets is there's some white space inside of this folio. If you saw the beginning of the series, part 1, you'll know that I started this folio by using a notebook that has pockets. And so clearly, as you can see here, there's that white space. So I'm using one of my favorite stencils, and I'm using a teal colored, I think it's teal. It's pretty much teal. It's a little bit richer than teal, but we'll call it teal. So I'm using that to add some stenciling to it. This long strip is a piece that I cut off of the original folder. It was either the top or the bottom. Well, it must have been the top because the bottom is the part with the pockets. So this is the part that I cut off the top. So I'm trying to figure out, where do I want to put it in the journal? And do I want to keep it the way it is? Or do I want to cut it in half and have 2 flaps, if you will? So I'm playing around with that, trying to figure out how I want to do this. I've decided to turn this piece into 2 pockets. So I'm going to grab my circle cutter and I'm going to cut a small piece out of each one. Then I'm going to run a bead of glue down each edge, glue them together so that we have pockets. Once that's dry, I'm going to use my hot glue gun to adhere this whole thing to the journal. Now I'm not using my regular glue, I'm using hot glue gun. And I just felt like, because of the texture of the journal, it has an interesting surface to it. So I thought the hot glue gun might do a better job of adhering it. I was thinking maybe the heat would get into whatever the surface is and just give it really good adhesion. I didn't really want there to be raw edges, so I'm using some beach themed ribbon or trim that I have, and I'm adhering that down just to cover up the raw edge. Something that I absolutely must do in this folio is add the ephemera and tags and goodies that my friends sent to me, specific for a beach themed journal. So I want to give shout outs to those friends that did send me some things. So Tanya of Side Gig Crafts, Pebbles of Coelita's Creations, Penny of Penny's Creations, and Rebecca of Rebecca Creates all sent me ephemera for a beach-themed journal. Now, I had some other friends send me some stuff for a mermaid journal, but I'm pretty certain that some of that is spilling over into this one. If I didn't finish using it in the mermaid journal that I completed last year, then I'm using it in this one. So just so that I cover all my bases, I want to let you know who those friends were. And that was recrafted by Carol, Rosie's Creative Wings, and Jacqueline Haley, Hand of the Queen. The tag that I put in the front pocket, that actually was sent to me by my friend Crystal of Vividly on Paper. And then this large one, I'm trying to figure out how can I add it. It's so large. So I think what I'm going to do, instead of trying to make a pocket for it or something, I'm going to go ahead and clip it to the journal. Using a folder to create this folio was pretty fun, and as you can see, there's already pockets in it. So I'm going to grab the ephemera and tags and etc. that my friends have sent to me, and I'm going to go ahead and start placing them inside some of the pockets. If I do that, then I know that I've used them, and then I also know what I need. Do I need to make more in order to fill the pockets and things? Well, one thing I know I need to do is I need to cover this. It's like the creator's mark, on the outside of this cover, and I don't like that. So I'm going to go ahead and grab some fabric and cover it with fabric. I figured instead of just covering it and it alone, because that might look a little bit funny to have like a patch of fabric there, I figured I'd go ahead and do a long strip, and it'll just look like a spine. You can see that I am using my hot glue gun, and when I use my hot glue gun, I just go section by section, because if you put too much on at one time, it can sometimes dry. Now this particular glue gun does have 2 temperature settings, so if I use high, it'll stay warm longer, but if I use the low, it dries pretty quick. I've got a tag here, and it's in a pocket, as you can see. And so I'm trying to figure out where I want to put that, and I think this is a perfect spot for it. Now I was going to hot glue it down as is, but it's a little bit bulky. So I thought what I would go ahead and do is trim some of the bulk away and then adhere it. I've removed as much bulk as I can. It's laying much flatter, but it's still going to be a fantastic pocket. So now I'm going to go ahead and use my glue gun, get a bunch of glue on there, pop that down, and then I will put the tag inside. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab a piece of ephemera and put a little something on the outside. This is a cute piece. It's actually a cluster, and I made this, I don't know, it's probably been a year ago. So I'm super happy to be able to use it, and it fits perfect on there. This purple page that you see is a jelly plate print, and it's pretty dark, as you can see. And so you can't just write on it. Well, I guess you could if you had a gel pen. But I figured because it's dark, I would go ahead and make a pocket. And I was playing with some items that I have in my stash. And somebody had sent me this paper that I'm putting the tail on. I think I had the tails in my stash already, but that could have been sent to me by somebody also. At any rate, I decided I'd turn that into the tag. That will be the tag that goes in the pocket that we're going to put on the purple page. I have a piece of scrap that comes from, I do believe it's a paper pack for mermaids. It's like mermaid scrapbook paper. So I've got a perfect size. I'm going to bend the corner down and glue the edges, and that's going to be the pocket on the purple page. Most of you know this, but just in case you don't, yes, you do see clothespins here. I use them to hold things down that I've glued, and that way I can continue working, but I don't have to worry about stuff sliding around. I'm going to add a side pocket here, and then, well, it's like a tuck spot, and then I'm going to put a nice big journaling card in there. Friends, I hope that you have enjoyed crafting along with me today. The next video, we are going to start embellishing the journal, and then the final video will be a flip through. Thanks for watching. See you soon.